All right, so let's just take a quick conversation on all of this. LCCI has been talking about this, especially that single window platform that the federal government also introduced. We have the president, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Dahosa, joins us virtually from Abuja. Mr. Dahosa, good morning.
Morning.
Great. Good to see you. I mean, I was afraid we're not going to have you. So, you had a press conference yesterday. You're talking about some of the reforms that the government has introduced. Could you share with us your thoughts?
Well, essentially, we looked at the various reforms and we saw how they were panning out, and we commended the government that some of the reforms are beginning to show results. Public transportation is now improving in terms of costs because of the CNG buses that are now running on the road, and we expected that a lot more of that will bring down the cost of transportation, which will translate into lowering the food inflation, because a huge component of food inflation is transportation along the value chain from the farm to the dinner table. We also recognize that the foreign exchange management has improved significantly after the unification of all the rates, and we thought government was doing well on that. But of course, the big one that we think a lot of work still needs to be done is on security, because security affects all the other sectors of the economy, and we thought that a lot more needs to be done. On power, we thought, as the rest of the observers of the economy have mentioned for several years, that government needed to bring private investment into transmission, because it's the transmission that seems to be dragging both generating and distribution down. Generation is up to about 13, 14 megawatts, gigawatts, and then distribution is doing well in most parts of the country, but transmission, we still have collapse of the grid from time to time. So these are some of the things we thought government should look at, and we hope that in the course of the next few months, we begin to see some improvement, especially on the back of two major improvements that we have seen: the local production of petroleum products from Dangote, Nigerian flights to the US, to the UK. Those two major events, which we mentioned in our report, are strategic enterprises that have a very long value chain affecting almost the whole of the economy. And we thought that the government should identify these strategic enterprises like Dangote, like the airlines, and give them all the support, customized support, to ensure, for example, that we have our airlines using all our bilateral services, which means that in the UK, for example, we still have 14 flights. We need to get 21 flights like the foreign airlines are flying to Nigeria from the UK. So we believe that government should identify those critical enterprises that require additional support, around which there's a lot of value chain. If the refinery one is very clearly very long value chain. In the airline business, if we have more of our airlines flying to foreign countries, we save foreign currency from the ticket sales, and we earn foreign currency from ticket sales they make in the other countries. So this is a summary of the press conference, identifying areas where the government has done significantly well and areas where we think there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, and you were also concerned about the national single window for the exporters and importers, and you did make some suggestions on how you think it can be implemented for a more robust impact.
Yes, it's very early in the day. That just announced barely 24 hours before we had that quarterly conference, and we had said that in most of these major government policies and activities, that the active players involved, the exporters, in this case the importers, have to be parts of the process, because if they are not part of the process of design and implementation, it is after the fact that we begin to see a lot of corrections and amendments that you need to make. For a good example is the student loan situation, where we had to make another law to correct a lot of aspects that were not foreseen in the initial design of student loan. So we are saying, again, for this single window, the active players around this new policy should be embedded in the implementation before it is 100% rolled out, so that we can avoid easily foreseeable issues and not wait until we are running it full steam and then we have to take a break and correct them. That's essentially the essence of our opinion on what is a very another great innovation by government, but the process of implementation will be faster and better if the core players are integrated at this time before it becomes a full-blown program.
Yeah, so I hope you're having conversations with the government because now there's a steering committee. I honestly do not know those who make up that committee, but I mean, I hope you're having conversations such as this so that, you know, these elements are infused at this early days.
Well, we can say that for this government, both at the federal and state level, we are actively engaged in a lot of conversations. Almost every week we are involved, and apart from the mentioned the press conference yesterday, we are directly involved with the agencies concerned. And to be fair to government, they also let us know and call us to have these conversations. And yes, there's a lot of conversations going on before the full rollout. And we believe that some of the gray areas will be resolved in the next days or weeks before we see a full implementation of the program.
All right. Thank you so much, President, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Gabriel Dahosa, for your time and thoughts this morning.
Thank you.